America's birthday is coming up. If you're looking for the perfect cuts to put on the grill this year, look no further. Good Ranchers is the place to get American beef, chicken, and seafood this summer. They sell 100% American meat and ship it straight to your door. And right now, they're giving away 2 free 18-ounce prime center-cut ribeyes to every person that uses my code DOINGGREAT. Yes, that's over 2 pounds of prime ribeye steaks just added to your order at no cost to you. You're absolutely welcome. You can make a one-time purchase or subscribe and save $25 on every box. Plus, like I said earlier, you'll get 2 free 18-ounce boneless ribeyes. I mean, these things are so good, they're steakhouse quality. Good Ranchers is giving them to you for free when you go to goodranchers.com/doinggreat. Gina is actually reading the words as they're scrolling down. It's pretty funny. This is not the time to wait. Claim your ribeyes today before they run out. Yes, this is a limited stock item. First come, first serve. And you want to be first when it comes to Good Ranchers. They deliver the best of American farms and ranches to your door. Make sure you take your time today. Go to goodranchers.com/doinggreat or use my code DOINGGREAT at checkout to get your 2 free 18-ounce ribeyes. Start the summer off right with Good Ranchers. American meat delivered. Emergency episode has been called. Citizens of the grateful nation. Some passages. Psalm 127. Behold, children are a gift of the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be ashamed when they speak with their enemies in the gate. John 16, verse 21. Whenever a woman is in labor, she has pain because her hour has come. But when she gives birth to the child, she no longer remembers the anguish because of the joy that a child has been born into the world. Therefore, you too have grief now, but I will see you again, and your heart will rejoice, and no one is going to take your joy away from you.
You know, they do say, I heard once that they say that your brain forgets just how painful labor is after you have your child. Because if you remember just how painful labor was, you wouldn't be able to procreate more.
That's why they make sex so enjoyable.
That too.
That's the reason. If it wasn't enjoyable, no one would do it. We wouldn't be here.
Yeah, none of us would be here.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Here we are today.
It's a bad day for baby killers.
Yeah. The hoes are mad.
Hoes mad.
Yes. As you guys seen earlier on the IDG podcast, Instagram, I had put a link to a Tennessean article about Roe being overturned only because Tennessee is one of the states with a trigger law based. So I went in there and I started commenting to the people who said it was a horrible day. I said, what a great day.
What a wonderful day.
What a wonderful day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because it's such a good day for TikTok content. If you're on TikTok, follow us. IDG podcast on TikTok. And a lot of people are saying dumb things like, I can't believe you would be happy about something that's against your best interests. I'm like, against my best interests? My best interests are protecting babies and empowering women. And you don't empower women by encouraging them to kill their own child in their womb.
What liberals seem to do on almost, not liberals, leftists, because I'll say leftists. I have some sympathy for liberals. They're just ignorant.
Yeah, I feel like they're on the road to
they're just ignorant.
conservatism.
What they like to do is they like to sit atop in an ivory tower and speak with such privilege and elitism. Because they do it with the gun argument. Why would anyone need an AR-15? Why would anyone need a handgun for self-defense? Oh my God, do you not realize that people are murdered and robbed every day for absolutely no reason? Not every killing is a vendetta. Not every killing is a mob hit. But it should just be for hunting. No, Tanya, it shouldn't. That's not what it's for.
Yeah, it's also none of your business.
Why? Well, who are you to tell what women can do with their bodies? And that what if kids are born? You like poor kids? You think the kids should live? I was like, well, at least they're alive. No, that is. And you are so privileged to think that children should be eliminated because of the situation, financial one, if that they're born into.
That's the most elitist thing you should ever.
If you really believe that, you should go and murder kids who are poor. Some commenter was like, I hope these states are happy to see their welfare systems, explode or something like that. And I responded, at least they'll be alive.
It's also this whole argument of we should kill poor babies because they don't have a lot of money. It's so ironic because it's the exact argument of eugenicists.
Yes.
It's actually what eugenics wanted to do, was to eliminate the population that was poor, that because they thought because you were poor, you were unworthy of living in society, you were going to have a terrible life, and you were a cancer to society. So it's just all these leftists who talk all the time about how we need to have more minorities, we need to have more minority representation and fewer white people. Why are you advocating for more minorities to not be born?
It's an interesting question. I wonder if they advocate for like illegal alien abortion, because they're always saying these women are in horrible conditions in these holding blocks.
Sure,
they got to give birth.
Of course they do. Yeah, they advocate for any abortion, any and all abortion. It's,
really?
It's sick and twisted.
I thought that they would advocate for illegal immigrant.
No, because
births.
for them it would be more like bodily autonomy.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I know we're preaching to the choir at this point, but you lose your right to bodily autonomy when your bodily autonomy results in the harm or the killing of another human being. It's like saying bodily autonomy. That guy should have the bodily autonomy to rape a woman.
It's his body.
It's his body, right?
We talked about the idea of forced birth, right? How there's really no such thing.
There's no such thing as forced birth, right?
There's two outcomes of pregnancy. There's only two: birth, miscarriage. Those are the only two things that can happen. So the idea of forcing someone to give birth doesn't make any sense, because if you just leave a pregnancy alone, only those two things can happen. So
it's like saying you're forcing someone to breathe, because pregnancy and birth is a natural bodily function.
Right.
You can't force the body to do it.
Right, exactly.
You can't force the body to digest. It's like saying forced digestion.
Yeah.
I can't force your body to digest a steak.
Don't eat.
Or
Don't
an
eat
egg.
the steak.
Don't eat the steak.
Yeah.
Like, you can't force a body to be pregnant and to give birth. It's a natural bodily function.
Don't have segs.
Don't have sex. I always see a lot of comments too. I've been seeing a lot of comments on my TikTok saying, I can't believe you are so ignorant to your own bodily autonomy and you want to rob women of their bodily autonomy. I am all for bodily autonomy. You have...
They said nothing during the jab too. That's why it's so funny.
Oh yeah, that's why it's so ironic. You have full bodily autonomy to not have a child. And you know how to do that is to either use contraception properly or to not have sex. That's the choice that you have. So all this, my body, my choice, it is your body, your choice. You have a choice. Remember, 99.5% of abortions are elective. And all those women had the choice to either abstain from sex or to use proper contraception. So you lose your right to bodily autonomy. You lose my body, my choice. It's not your body. It's your baby's body.
So speaking of babies' bodies, can we attempt to help save a baby right now?
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. Tell the story.
This is a story that actually Carly sent to me, and she saw it from Robbie and Landon. Vanderbilt, which is a local hospital and university here in Nashville, is denying a heart transplant to baby August unless his parents fully vaccinate him. Baby August is 6 months old and his heart is failing. Everyone agrees he needs a transplant, but Dr. David Burrell demanded that the parents fully vaccinate August despite the religious opposition and concern for his immune system. What happened to do no harm? Denying care to a child because they're unvaccinated is the definition of doing harm. So what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to call the medical center administration at Vanderbilt. We're going to be respectful, but we're gonna ask them why this doctor is forcing a vaccination on this child.
Tell me the doctor's name again.
Robert Burrell.
Bearl.
Bearl. So let's call them now and see what happens here. 615-322-6154. It's public knowledge. Adriano, let me know if you can hear this in the...
You know you can connect Bluetooth here.
Thank you for calling Vanderbilt Medical Center Patient Relations. For patient room information, press 1. For the Office of Patient Relations,
That one?
press 2.
That one?
For patient billing questions,
Patient
Probably.
relations.
press 3.
Probably patient relations.
I'm sorry. Extension 28008 does not answer. This mailbox is currently full. To transfer to the operator,
Of course it is.
0.
In case you guys didn't hear that, it says the mailbox is already full. Of course it is.
Can you hear that, Adriano?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt University Voicemail Message Center. To access your mailbox, please press the pound sign.
Pound sign.
For someone on the system,
Pound sign.
please
Dial their 5-digit extension number.
transfer to an extension, please dial
Transfer to an extension.
followed by the 5-digit extension number. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I guess people were doing the Lord's work because that mailbox is full.
What could possibly be the doctor's reason to withhold life-saving surgery from a baby just because they don't have the COVID vaccine?
Well, first of all, why does a 6-month-old need a COVID vaccine?
Exactly. Six months?
Yeah, his immune system is...
He's younger than my daughter. I can't even.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
It's sickening.
I don't know what that is. Apparently, it wasn't the ethics board. It wasn't the hospital. It was this doctor specifically, who I guess leads cardiac over there. I don't know.
So gross.
I'm not a doctor. Anyone who's a doctor or medical student who watches our show, if you can comment about why you think this doctor would require that other than being a pure psychopath, let us know.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of other Supreme Court decisions, we had a Supreme Court decision brought down, what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago, about gun laws being expanded, especially in New York. It was a case that two members of a New York Rifle and Gun Association brought against the state because one of their members was applying for a concealed carry permit license. And in New York, they have something called, I want to make sure that I get this right, but they have something called a proper cause. That's what the state requires when you're applying for a concealed carry license. They call for a proper cause in order to get the permit, which absolutely goes against the Second Amendment. And it's a big win for New York, which is interesting. But the governor obviously voiced her disappointment in the decision. Mayor Eric Adams said that New York City is now going to be the Wild West. And it's so weird. These people are basically giving a message to the people who live in their cities and in their states saying, we only think that criminals should have guns.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have them.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have them. You shouldn't be able to conceal them. Like, whenever people say it's going to be the Wild West out here, no, it's just going to be able to give people the opportunity and the natural right to defend themselves. Imagine if New Yorkers were able to conceal weapons. Like, I'm sure the amount of shootings in the subway would go down. I'm sure the amount of, robberies in the city would go down. I just think that's what it is. And so what if more shootings happen? If it's an interaction in which a law-abiding citizen uses his weapon to defend himself, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, my cousin and his wife, they lived in New York City for a long time, and he told me 2 stories of his wife nearly being attacked in the past several months. She has to ride the subway for an hour and a half in the morning to get to school to teach.
That's just too much.
It's crazy. And there was one time where she was out for a run, and these 2 people were following her for a pretty good amount of time. And she said it was really scary and it felt very dangerous. And in situations like that, and then on the subway, she said there's this new thing. I mean, I guess it's not a new thing, but a lot of people say that on the subway now, nobody is like this. Nobody is on their phone because it's gotten so crazy there that there's groups of kids that will always just come and take people's phones.
Oh, yeah. I saw it happen once.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so my cousin, he tells me these stories about his wife, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, imagine how much safer she would feel and how much more confident she would feel in the city if she were able to conceal and carry and protect herself.
They did it to an Asian girl.
My cousin's wife is Asian.
I saw it. I was sitting in the little 2-seater, and I saw this girl standing by the doors on her phone, and I saw these kids at the end of the car just slowly walking up and looking at people. For the last year that I was living in New York, when I was going back and forth to work, I wasn't on my phone. I put it on, play music, and then put it in my pocket. And sometimes I wouldn't even play music. It would appear that I was playing music, but I didn't have any music on, so I could hear things. And I saw them approach this woman. They're kind of hanging out in the middle of the car. And then as soon as the train stopped, they rushed her, took her phone, and then ran out when the doors were open. She ran out after them. She got her phone back. So
she
based
did?
Asian, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she was able to get it back. She just
snatched it out of their hands? Or did she do some kung fu?
She ran after them and tackled one of them. Yeah, kung fu. Yeah.
Like Mac is obsessed with karate.
Oh, yeah.
If you love karate so much, learn some karate.
That's right. Always Sunny. It's Always Sunny, and it's always Office references for you.
I haven't watched the last 2 or 3 seasons of Sunny.
How can you? What are there, 40 seasons
There's
by
so
now?
many. Like, they should have given up a long time ago. But in the first 4 seasons of Sunny, some of the best television out there.
We binged a show last night.
What show?
It's called The Bear. It's on Hulu or FX. It's about
A bear?
a beef sandwich shop in Chicago. It's really good.
A beef sandwich shop?
Yeah. It's really, it has the kid from Shameless. I think the oldest brother, maybe.
Philip Lip?
Yeah, I think so.
He's like ugly, but like girls love him.
Yes.
Like ugly cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that show.
Okay.
He's weirdly like subtly ripped. I was watching the show and Carly
Yeah.
mentioned that. I was like, yeah, I was looking at his arms.
Yeah,
That's
he
where
was
I would
actually
like to get to.
in the last few seasons of Shameless, he was looking really
Yeah.
cut. And he's small. He's a small dude. He's just
It's a good show.
yeah. I mean, the last couple of seasons got a little too woke.
Not
for me.
Shameless.
Oh, okay.
This new show, The Bear.
The Bear. Is
It's good.
is it a like a comedy or a
No, it's
drama?
Kind of, yeah, it's a
Dramedy?
dramedy. Yeah, it's a dramedy.
Dramedy?
The way it's shot's really cool.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Good soundtrack as well. Some really cool people in it. But and it's about food, so it's a good show.
okay? How many seasons?
It just started, just premiered, but all the episodes are available because they're half-an-hour episodes.
I need to watch Peaky Blinders first, season 6. The Peaky fucking Blinders.
I gave you. We'll get into some more serious stuff, but on a lighter note, I gave you and speaking of abortion, still, I gave you an assignment to watch a movie.
yeah.
Did you watch it with your husband?
No,
Okay.
we during the week we do not have time to watch anything together.
Okay,
It's
so you
only on
watched it.
Fridays. Yeah. So I watched it like that night. I usually don't watch any TV past like 8:30 or 9, but I did in the bath that night. I watched
Yeah.
some of the movie and then I was really into it. I was into the
Right.
story. And then the next morning as I was like doing stuff around the kitchen, I was finishing watching it. Adriano came by and saw. He was like, "Oh, what are you watching?" And I told him a little bit. He was kind of watching, but I thought it was good. Tell them what the movie is.
So this movie is called Waves. And on the last episode with Morgan, we were talking about how some movies have these little conservative elements in them that if you blink, you might miss them. Or if you are one of these people who kind of, what's the word? What kind of conservatives? If you're the kind of conservative that likes Project Veritas, you wouldn't like this movie, I guess, if that makes sense. So... Not Project Veritas, sorry, James O'Keefe. Yeah, James. If you like James O'Keefe's dancing, then you wouldn't like this movie. So the movie's called Waves.
2018 film.
2018 film, and it is this roller coaster ride once it gets to that point. And the story, just to sum it up really quickly, is about it's in Miami, right? Around
Yes.
Miami. It's about a family whose son is maybe feels the pressure of being a senior in high school, doesn't really want to know what he's doing with his life. And he has a father in his life who isn't overbearing, but he pushes his son to be good, to be great at what he's doing.
He's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler. He's almost wants to leave his business to his son. I think he's in a construction business,
Yes.
so he's kind of guiding him like that. And this kid, he just has problems with some prescription medication because he hurts himself. He has a girlfriend who he impregnates, and I don't want to give too much away, but he does something absolutely insane when she decides she wants to keep the baby. And then there's another character arc about the son's sister, who, after what happens to the son, has her own sort of plot line and journey, and that has to do with family and how close we are to family, especially family who we weren't close to, or family members who we've had falling out with, or abusive family members and stuff like that. So it's a really interesting movie, and if you look at it with conservative eyes, you can kind of appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that's marketed as the plight of a suburban African-American family. And so the way that it's marketed is like when you read the tagline, it does not sound interesting at all.
Right.
It sounds like it's going to be some woke movie, kind of like Moonlight, even though I enjoyed Moonlight.
I like Moonlight.
I really
Yeah,
liked it. But it's really not that. There are not huge woke undertones to it. I mean, there's a lot of different themes to the movie that I think are very relevant. I think people would enjoy. So for example, his addiction to Oxy, which is obviously that's an addiction that is a serious issue with a lot of young men in America today. But the next layer of that is, as someone who's been very athletic and kind of been in and out of sports my whole life. And, my husband's very much in the martial arts world. I know, and I've seen the pain of what happens when you get a very severe injury as an athlete.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain to somebody who's never experienced it, but it's really makes you question your identity, because people who are, you know, at that level of athleticism, I mean, this is a wrestler who spends every waking hour getting up at before dawn. His dad makes him go on a run to do conditioning in the morning. And then he does a lot of weight training with his dad. His dad really pushes him to train a lot. And he's very committed to wrestling practice. And he has a severe shoulder injury that makes him really struggle with depression and really wonder what's his role in life if he can't wrestle. And then he doesn't tell his parents that his shoulder is so bad. I mean, not giving this away. I mean, it's you know, it happens kind of in the beginning, and he really ends up messing up his shoulder badly. And the thing about drugs like Oxy is that it's very easy to get really addicted to them.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when Mark came on, Prison Mark?
Yeah.
Prison Mark.
Yeah.
Like
Prison Mark. Yeah.
When Prison Mark came on, he described how his older brother died.
Yeah.
And that was the catalyst that changed his life and his twin brother's life. And when Mark first told me the story, and you can go back and listen to his episode too, when Mark first told me the story, he said that his brother died of a sudden drug overdose. And when you hear that, you think it's somebody that struggled. That's not what happened in this movie. I'm not giving it away.
Right.
But you think it's someone who struggled a lot with drug addiction in general for a long time.
Right.
But Mark explained that his brother was an incredible athlete and was very dedicated to his training, and he got a really bad injury.
Yeah.
And then they prescribed him pain medication. And he said it was within like 2 months
Oh,
where
yeah.
it spiraled from addiction to the pain meds into heroin into death.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the theme of this movie that's really compelling, and it just really tugs at your heartstrings. The main character, the kid, it's hard to like him. Like,
Yes.
you know, I end up hating him.
Right.
And what happened to him, it wasn't even good enough for me.
Right.
But it's a really thought-provoking film. And it's a really thought-provoking film about family and about parents. And I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to give it away. But it's definitely a tearjerker.
Well, what I talked about with Carly, because I read, and the father seemed to be doing this to the son. I read this story in a magazine called The Golfer's Journal. It shared a story about a father who lost his son to a sudden accidental drug overdose, and I think he thinks it was Oxy as well. And the son was a very talented junior golfer who, you know, during high school was getting scholarship opportunities to Division I schools, but was also prescribed ADD medication, Ritalin, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And the father started to notice certain aspects of his son's personality sort of kind of diminish or go away. But his grades were improving and he was able to focus, but he was kind of in and out of the sport, especially when I think his last year of high school, the coach, it was either last year of high school or the first year, they ended up going to a community college because he wanted to focus more on golf, and then he can make the bigger commitment to the bigger school. But he said he had a coach that used negative reinforcement to push their athletes. Like, why weren't you playing this good? You played like trash. You think you deserve to be on this team because of how you play? Like words like that. You know, and I was talking to Carly, I was like, does negative reinforcement work? And she was like, it depends on the kid.
Depends on the kid.
If you have a kid who's on ADHD medication and is having anxiety or depression issues because of that, negative reinforcement probably isn't going to work. And this coach couldn't have known that because he was a new coach. The coach who had left had known this kid for a very long time. So the father in the movie seemed to kind of have a couple of those like negative reinforcement tendencies where he would try to push his son by telling him not necessarily that he wasn't good enough, but how can you expect to win if you train like this?
Yeah. Did you ever see Molly's Game?
Yeah, I love Molly's Game.
Yeah. So there's a very tiny scene in there that kind of related to this relationship between the dad and the son. Jessica Chastain, who plays Molly Bloom.
She's an Olympic skier or the jump. Yeah.
What's it called? What's the actual?
The high jump or?
No, I forgot what it is. It's a different word, but anyway. So she says to Idris Elba, her lawyer,
Right.
She said, so the lawyer, his daughter often comes in and he's always making his daughter do extra schoolwork,
Right.
like reading a certain book, reading The Crucible, writing an essay or whatever. And he said to Molly Bloom, he said, do you think I'm pushing her too hard? And she said to him, she said, when I was living in New York, she said, I knew a girl who sold herself to a rich guy for a weekend. How much do you think that she sold herself for that weekend? And Idris Elba said, $2,000. And she looked at him and she said, it was for a Prada bag that she wanted. And she says, whatever you're doing with your child, double it.
Oh, double it.
Whatever
That's right.
work you're doing with your child, double it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting because I think it's rare in society today to see parents that really push their children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every kid's different, of course. Every kid's going to respond differently. But I think that if we held kids to a higher standard, and I think if we stopped passing out participation trophies, and if we saw more dads, especially dads with their sons, really push them, because especially when it comes to boys, like I think there are so many more boys in our country who are capable of excellence, not just physical athletic excellence, but just excellence in general.
Yeah.
And I think we're lacking a lot of strong dads that can really push their kids to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
I believe that.
I thought about that. I was like, double it. Whatever you're doing with your daughter,
Yeah.
double it.
I like that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I just hope I'm not too hard on my daughter, because I'm very much like, oh, let's go. You know,
Yeah.
whenever I trained clients, whenever I was training full time in San Francisco, I'm very much like I'll push my clients.
I'll be interested to see what she's interested in.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. I just pray every day for wisdom to let go, because I always worry that my daughter's not going to be interested in the things that the both of us love. You know,
Right.
we always worry
And
that,
can help her with.
yeah, what
Because
if
you guys have the expertise.
what if she hates jujitsu?
Yeah.
And if she does, and if she's more artistic, or if she's into different things,
I'm good there. I'm good for golf. I'm good for softball.
we'll have to.
Good for that. Field hockey, I can't help you.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Cheerleading, tap dance, don't do it. Violin, sure.
Okay. That's good. Well, she's got two non-negotiables: piano and jujitsu.
Oh, that's
and,
right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a non-negotiable. At
Well,
least when
speaking
she's
of
super
daughters, so did the NCAA or the Olympics make a ruling about
young.
swimming?
FINA. Yes, FINA is it's a French acronym name, so I don't know exactly what it is, but it's the the International Organization for Regulation for Swimming, and they just ruled. And conservatives said it was a big win. They thought it was a huge win. They said that the headline is that trans athletes are banned from competing at the elite level, which means that Leah Thomas seemingly won't be able to compete anymore. And so everyone's celebrating, yay, 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 awesome. But if you look closely, guys, they do not say that trans athletes aren't allowed to compete because men and women are different. You know what they say? They say that trans athletes can only compete if they have transitioned before they're 12 years old.
The fuckery.
All they're saying is that if you transition before puberty, then you're allowed to compete, which is just like, what? It's essentially encouraging kids to transition before they're 12.
Right.
The fuck?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense. It's disgusting. And so while conservatives are like, yay, awesome, Leah Thomas can't compete, this is so much bigger than Leah Thomas. What we're now doing is essentially we're seeing an international athletic organization sanction child abuse and say, hey, if you abuse your child and give them hormone blockers when they're 5 years old or 10 years old,
they're good to go.
They're good to go. We're going to reward you, and we're going to allow that child to compete in the Olympics as the gender they weren't born as the wrong gender.
What would be I still don't even see the point in doing that still. What would be the point to affirm the gender of your child? Oh, let's affirm it now just so that he can swim. But that doesn't make any sense to me. These people should have their kids taken away.
No, they really should. It's not a joke at this point. It's not a joke. It's child abuse.
I am so done playing with these people and trying to be nice. Like, just when I heard about the Roe thing, and then I saw people that I follow on Instagram, they're like, I can't believe this. This is such a sad day, blah, blah. Imagine, telling women what they can do with their bodies. And I was like, I'm done. These people are my enemy. I don't care to be nice to these people anymore. It's the start of something.
I can totally get that. And I often feel like that. I try not to get too combative, because as a woman, I know what it's like to just feel like it's normal to go along with abortion. And I think that if more women heard a perspective that was a little bit more informative and from an education perspective and a little bit more gentle, that they would be more willing to come to the other side. But I totally get what you're saying. It's like, you're our enemy. I don't want to associate with you. There's no common ground. There's no compromise with baby killers. I totally get that. But I try not to be so combative with women. I mean, there's definitely lots of women that deserve to just be like, you kill babies and I don't want anything to do with you. But there's also a lot of women who only support abortion because it's just what you fall in line with.
Sure.
It's just what our generation has just been raised to think, that abortion is okay, that it's normal, and that even more than that it's empowering.
Yeah.
So women have just been convinced to believe that. And so I think that when I was pro-abortion, I didn't even know what an abortion was. And I honestly think there are so many women out there who don't even know what abortion actually is. They really think it's just you take a pill and it goes away.
Right.
And if they actually, that's why I encourage everyone to go to Live Action's social media recently. They recently started posting a series on what abortion actually is. And I think it's a fantastic series because it shows graphics, and they're graphic images, and they're not real life images. They're drawn, but it really shows what a medical abortion is and what a surgical abortion is. So the difference is the medical abortion is you take the abortion pill. I think you can do that before 12 to 16 weeks, something like that. And then the surgical abortion is when the doctor will manually go in and literally rip out limb by limb. And so I think it's really important to understand what abortion is, because I've had women, friends, come to me in tears after having an abortion, and they say the same thing. They always say, I didn't know it was going to be like that. I didn't know that I was going to pass my baby in the toilet and see my child in the toilet. They didn't know that it was going to be that painful. They didn't know it was going to be that horrendous, because the doctors don't tell them what abortion actually is, which is why I'm so supportive of Lila Rose and Live Action. I think they're doing the most important work right now when it comes to abortion and educating women on what abortion actually is. And then even down to the surgical abortion. What is a surgical abortion? What happens? The baby just doesn't disappear. The doctor goes in with forceps, and it's important to say this, guys, even though it's graphic, and rips out the baby's limbs first. Arm, leg. And then the forceps go in and crush the skull. And then continually pulls out the remaining body parts. It is the most depraved, heinous thing that we have ever adopted in society. And I think that if more women knew what abortion actually was, they wouldn't support it. And I really like Lila Rose's messaging, because she says this all the time. She says, abortion is anti-women. There's nothing more anti-women than
Literally
lying to women and telling them that killing their baby is going to make them feel better, that they need to kill their baby to love life and to feel fulfilled and to feel like they can achieve things in life. So go to Live Action and share all of their stuff, share the graphics, and let's educate women on what abortion actually is.
Let's educate people on what good meat actually is. How about that? Guys, listen, I'm telling you, Good Ranchers is giving away 2 free 18-ounce prime center cut ribeyes to every person that uses my code DOINGREAT. That's right. You heard me. I'm sorry. Over 2 pounds of ribeye steaks added to your order at no cost to you. You can make a one-time purchase or subscribe and save $25 on every box. Plus, you'll get 2 free 18-ounce boneless ribeyes. Good Ranchers is giving them to you for free when you go to thegoodranchers.com/doinggreat. This is a limited stock offer, and it's first come, first serve. Make sure you take time today. Right now, go to goodranchers.com/doinggreat or use my code DOINGREAT at checkout. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. I made some of their chicken last night.
I made a petite Denver steak for breakfast yesterday
how was
morning.
it?
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I made they had the seasoned chicken breast.
I have that in my freezer. I'm going to make that this weekend,
It was good.
I think.
These things take two hours to thaw. I leave them out 2 hours to thaw.
That's it?
They're good to go. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's
okay.
hot out, but my house isn't
Super
hot.
out. I think aren't you supposed to thaw things in the fridge? Whatever.
Hey, check this out.
Yeah. Let's after we do that, I want to
Yeah.
read a couple of the dumbest TikTok comments about abortion that are actually like the most common.
Hey,
myths
Mike,
perpetuated.
Alex Learn. That's my personal IDG. What are you doing to support kids that are born into broken homes and literally don't have a chance? What are you doing to help kids in need? Foster kids, kids at adoption agencies. I'm seriously curious. I donate my time and finances to multiple organizations that help women in their pregnancies as well as advocate for the life of children. You must be the other guy.
I like that.
These people are so like...
No, they are. Actually,
imagine me
speaking of that,
actually
follow up.
having to open my wallet or take kids into my house to just like simply advocate for letting them live. Like, what do I have to prove to these people? I don't have to prove anything to you.
No, you don't.
I advocate for their life. You advocate for their death.
So this is the same exact thing. Someone said to me, nope, if you care about people and children, you would vote for universal health care, food stamps, higher wage, family leave, free lunches, etc. See, this is the thing. This is how retarded people are.
People seriously are.
They think that because we oppose the federal government intervening in our lives and giving us free stuff and offering free childcare and mandating maternity leave. They think because we oppose this that we don't take care of children, we don't care for children.
Right.
We oppose all of this specifically because we care for children, because we do not want childcare to turn into the DMV, because we do not want free things from the government that's just going to hike up all of our taxes and ruin the economy. We oppose federally mandated all the things because we actually care for kids. I mean, the idea that you want the federal government to provide childcare for your kids, why the hell would you want the federal government taking care of your kids? How much do you have to hate kids to want the federal government to take care of them?
You guys don't even care about kids after they're born.
Which is so funny because conservative religious individuals donate the most time, money, and resources to all of the organizations around the country
It's
that
such a
help
tired
mothers
meme
and
by now.
children
Like,
and
how do they
babies
not
in
know
need.
this?
It's so dumb. It's retarded.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say the R word?
You have been.
I say it a lot.
Some people don't like it.
Oh.
But, I mean, listen, I feel that I've changed my ways in blaspheming. I feel that maybe if it's something that you decide to do, you don't have to say the hard R word anymore.
You don't call retarded people retards. You call your friends retards when they're acting retarded.
It's another Office quote that I'm telling you, when we come out with our bingo game, it's just going to be, I wonder if we should push like a clean. No, I'm tired of this. We are not cookie cutter conservatives. This is one of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about. These comments where it's just these people have to like just project their idea of what conservatism is. Like,
we're gonna talk about the trad stuff too.
Like we know. Like we know how they feel. It's just so dumb to me. Like, listen, that episode with Morgan when you two ladies were talking about that, you know, a traditional woman isn't necessarily a woman from, you know, 5 years of the 1950s with pearls on, that's the idea. And I'm sure it's not, you know, every traditional guy thinks that that's the ideal version of a woman that he wants. All you're saying is that, hey, women have existed in families for a very, very long time. And they've also had very big roles in families that also have to do with financial or head of household or just, you know, running the family efficiently, like,
or being a part of society.
Being a part of society, yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And then you have a woman who says, "Oh my God, she took a picture in her sports bra, and she's talking about being traditional. She's a slut."
I didn't even see anything on Morgan's page where she was in a bra.
No, I looked too. I didn't see anything.
She said she was wearing she was posting half naked pictures. Morgan doesn't post any half naked pictures.
Look, but even if she did. Well, I mean, I guess even if she did, I guess it would still be
well, look, here's the problem with some people's response to what Morgan and I said. They didn't listen to the actual conversation. So some people were responding. They were like, I can't believe Gina is against mom staying home. Are you guys okay in the head? Like women like Morgan and I advocate. I stay home with my baby, and I advocate for all moms to stay home and not go to a 9 to 5. Yeah. And they can't hear that. They just heard that we are against stay-at-home moms. No, if you guys go back and listen, Morgan and I were criticizing what the trad movement has become. The current trad movement on social media, Twitter and Instagram, it has become a caricature.
Yes.
Morgan and I are obviously very supportive and very encouraging, and we advocate for moms to be present with their children as much as possible, to be at home with them, to raise them, to feed them, to educate them. That's what we want moms to do with their kids. But we just take issue with what the word trad has turned into on social media, because it's turned into a caricature.
Right.
And so someone was like, you know, my mom stayed home and it was good for us.
Great.
Good. That's good. You're agreeing with us. Congratulations. You're agreeing with us. We think that moms should stay home. What we take issue with is this really weird caricature of women who never leave the house and who don't have a voice in society. That's what we have an issue with, because that's not actually what traditional is.
They're getting blocked.
And then there was somebody who commented and said, did you know that trad stands for traditional?
No, we didn't.
Oh, wow.
We didn't
Thanks
know
a lot.
that.
Wow.
You're getting blocked.
You must have the IQ of a tampon, buddy. I mean, obviously trad stands for traditional.
Maxi pad.
Our argument is just that what people say is traditional today is actually not traditional. I'm sorry, it's not traditional.
Some dude was like, I said that I like Gina, and then like I just don't agree with your guys' thing. I'm like, cool, dude, that's fine. And then he kept on going. He's like, yeah, but continue to simp for people like more. I'm like, dude, you're unmarried with no children. Like, who are you calling a simp, dude?
It was he. Oh my god!
Like, you know what? And that
so funny to
person
me.
follows everyone, not everyone, but he follows people that have been on this show, and I'm like, that's what it is. They're just jealous. They're not friends with these people.
Well, the girl who was talking about Morgan being half naked,
Yeah.
she was fat.
How do you know?
I saw her photo. She's fat.
Oh, really?
And I mean, look, I'm not trying to be mean, but a lot of times women who are very overweight and unhappy with the way they look, they see a girl
Yeah.
like Morgan who's beautiful and smart and she's classy and they don't like it. They
she
get
had
jealous.
the nerve to call me low T. She was like, "Oh, the co-host with low T, sweetheart. You couldn't take 2 minutes of this.
You couldn't
Trust
take
me.
my tea.
You couldn't take this tea." You fucking, I was mean to her. I said, she was like, "I will become a traditional woman on my wedding day next March," and I was like, "Yeah, have fun at your imaginary wedding."
Oh my gosh. This is what I'm saying. And I
Sorry. See, Mike goes in. I'm talking about myself in the third person. I go in because I care. I don't get hurt by these things. When she called me low T, I was just like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Lol.
I mean, yeah. When the dude was like, "Yeah, you're a simp," and I'm just like, in what world?
Okay.
In what world? You follow anime characters, dude. Like, what?
Well, this is what I texted you. A lot of conservatives, not all, but many, are totally incapable of conversations with nuance.
You're just telling me go save the country. I'm like, not my job. Not my job. I have a show where we basically we have a show where we talk shit about you people. Those types of people. Those types of people is who we joke about, is who we talk shit about.
And there was another girl in the YouTube comment. She was like, I'm really surprised that Gina was talking badly about housewives and thinks that it's bad.
Did I say something to her?
No, I'm like, are you okay? Do you have the IQ of a rock? Like,
Yeah.
nobody said that. People cannot hear nuance. Like, how could you possibly think that two women who advocate for moms to stay home with their babies, one of whom actually stays home with my baby,
Right.
would be against the idea of moms staying home with
Well,
babies?
what's more empowering? Going to work for another man, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, not seeing your kids, or staying home with your kids. They garner your full attention. You take care of them with the utmost care and pride. But as they grow older, you have a little side hustle. What happens if you become successful in that side hustle? What is wrong with that?
You know, Shekinah texted me. She's going to be on the show soon. She said, I'm really glad that you and Morgan were talking about this. She says, because I also really take issue with what trad has become on social media. And she said, from a biblical perspective, it's as long as what you do in society or what you do with your family business doesn't take away
Yeah.
from raising kids,
Yes.
then it's wrong to say that women cannot do anything else.
Yeah.
And so I told her, I said, I want you to come on and talk about it. And she said, yeah, I'm really excited. So she's going to come on soon and talk more about it, because Shekinah is someone who, she and Bryson are very, very knowledgeable of the Bible, probably two of the most knowledgeable people that I've met about the Bible. And she talks all that. She helps Bryson a lot with his business.
What
They
are
have their
though?
own.
Aren't they Jewish?
They are Messianic Jews,
Oh, right.
which are basically Jewish in practice, but Christian in belief. So they believe that Jesus was the Son of God and came to earth to atone for the sins of mankind and rose on the third day. But they practice the Torah. So they don't eat pork. They observe the Sabbath and things like that.
Oh,
It's really interesting. We'll ask
So they
Shekinah about
observe
it.
the Saturday Sabbath?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked to Carly a bunch of times because the idea in my head was, the idea popped in my head a couple times where I was like, wow, it can help, further our, our financial outlook if Carly did work again. And I brought the idea up to her. I was like, what? And she was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, I told you, I've been lied to. I love raising my daughter. And I'm like, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. It's
I commend
awesome.
you. I commend you, babe. She's watching right now. I commend you.
Yay, moms.
Moms
It's
out
awesome.
there, you're doing a good job. If you're listening to this and you're having a stressful day, we're behind you. I think you're doing a great job. Because we were, the tantrums have started now. You get into the age where the tantrums they hit you left, right, to sometimes you think they're never going to end. But, you tell yourself this is temporary. This isn't who my child is. This isn't a reflection of me as a mom. these are just kids who have no control over their emotional behavior.
Yeah,
So,
that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, but we're doing great, and she's a great mom. I can't say a bad word.
Yeah.
I can't even have a bad thought.
Yeah, every time we come over, I always say to myself, she's such a hands-on mom.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that she's like, it's tough. I don't want to be mean, but I really admire moms who make all of their own food for their child. Like my husband knows I have never fed my baby any sort of packaged thing ever. It's really important to me to feed her real food. And I know Carly does the same. And when I was pregnant, I saw Carly doing that with your daughter. And I was like, man, that's really inspiring to me. I want to do the same thing. And so much respect for all the moms out there who refuse to feed their kids junk food. She
makes her own blueberry jam for Roe to put on top of her pancakes.
See?
Yeah.
I love that.
Once a week, she's making waffles from scratch. Once a week, she's making pancakes from scratch. She makes the blueberry, the jam that she puts on top of the waffles. I mean, she doesn't make the bread that we make toast for her, but she's always cooking.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best gift you can give to your child. Well, two of the best gifts is being present and feeding your child real nourishing food.
Also, though, listen, we are not coming at the moms who probably don't have the time. You got 3 kids running around. I understand that, whatever. But I don't want to, diminish the other moms out there who.
Yeah, no, I mean, and if you're a mom out there, and maybe you're in a family situation where you have to work.
Yeah, hire a chef. A personal chef can make all the food for your kids.
A private chef. I mean, I totally understand. Every family is going to have a different setup, and I know some moms aren't able to spend as much time with their kids as you want to. I mean, we feel very blessed that I'm able to spend. The only time I'm not with her is when to come here. And I feel very blessed that I'm able to spend
Why do you have an internet show? Go be with your child.
Why are you on the internet talking to so why are you on the internet talking to men?
Because we're instilling a certain sort of mindset to people that we think they should get behind. That's why we're on the internet. We're reaching people. We're talking to people.
Just like Morgan said, she and I both have a very high percentage of female following.
Yeah.
And I think it's great for women to see other women online who embody the kind of lifestyle that we should all embody. It's important for women. I mean, I don't even want to say I'm a role model, but it's important for women to be role models for other women, especially younger women.
We'll keep on talking. I think I want to find a DM to kind of prove the point about what we do.
About what we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to hear that stuff. I met this great couple at First Form Summer Smash. First Form has this huge event every year called Summer Smash in June. And my husband and I drove 5 hours to be there. And I met this great couple, Sheena and Matt, hi. And it was just so great to hear someone in person say that they love our show. And I'm sure Mike's going to find a DM because, we definitely don't make money doing this show, guys. We do it because we love it. And we do it because we're passionate about putting some good content out there, content that you may not find anywhere else. So yeah, it's definitely a fun side project of mine.
There are so many DMs that I tried. Like, I don't know why I approve all of these. And this one I think was to my personal. I don't know if it was to the IDG one, but let's see here. This is why do we do this? I should be prepared with this. But yeah. when she said it, I said to Carly, I was like, read that.
It's nice.
This is what we're doing for
Yeah,
people?
I mean, and I don't talk about it really much on the show at all, but one of the things I do in my spare time is I have a health and fitness group. We have some women in there. We have a few hundred women in there who are really dedicated to learning more about health and fitness. And a lot of women are on a weight loss journey. And that's a huge passion of mine. It's probably 3 or 4 nights a week after my daughter goes to sleep. I do a live stream and I help a lot of women figure out their macros and figure out how to change their diet and change some things in their lifestyle and their habits. And it's a really rewarding thing to do because I always say this, we talk about this a lot. If you don't have your health, you have nothing in your life. If you're not even healthy, you can't even enjoy being a parent or being there for your kids. So it's, if you want to join, you can go to my Instagram and the link in the bio, and you'll see in my link tree, you'll see the link to go join my private health and fitness group. It's women only. Sorry, guys. Only for biological women because those are the only women that actually exist on this planet. It's only for women. Every Monday we do a live workout at 5:00. Every Tuesday we do, it's either a recipe share day or it's a grocery haul. Every Wednesday, I'll do a live stream at night where I answer a ton of questions that I collect that day, or we talk about nutrition, lifestyle habits, things like that. It's more health focused. Thursday is Thursday Thoughts. Last night I went live after my daughter went to sleep and just kind of vented to all the ladies there about some of the challenges that I've had being a first-time mom. And it's just a really great community where women can speak freely and honestly about their own challenges, whether it's with health and fitness and lifestyle or just things going on in their life in general. And then Friday is Friday Fit. So I always share like a haul of new clothes or new workout gear or makeup or things like that, lifestyle stuff. And we're always running challenges in my group. So on Monday, we're starting a brand new 30-day challenge, no gluten, no dairy, and no sugar for 30 days. And I've already shared a ton of recipes that's going to help you get through it. And yes, you can still have dessert if you don't eat refined sugar. I just shared this really nice gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free peach cobbler recipe. And I know it sounds like, whoa, how good is it going to taste with all that stuff? It tastes really good. And I just shared a really good chicken pot pie recipe that's gluten-free, made with almond flour. So we're constantly doing challenges together. It's a great place to level up and learn more about health and fitness and join a lot of like-minded women.
That's very, very interesting.
Did you find the
DM? No. Oh, wait.
Mike's still looking for it.
Oh, no.
Do, do,
It's,
do,
oh,
do, do,
wait.
do, do.
No, these are because I'm typing in by words now. I'm trying to see thank you because I remember seeing thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking when Morgan and I were having that conversation afterwards, I was thinking a lot about how women used to have to spend so much of their time making clothes and washing clothes and doing things around the house that weren't available before modern technology like washing machines and dishwashers and things like that. And so now that we have all these luxuries in modern life as moms and as parents, we have some more free time on our hands. And so I think it's really great to see moms who are totally dedicated to their kids. So somebody I mentioned to Morgan, Arielle Tyson, I love her. If you guys love to follow like moms with a ton of kids and watch them homestead, Arielle Tyson's a great one to follow. She's got 7 kids. She homeschools all the ones who are school age. And she and her husband have built a very successful YouTube page where they just create a lot of content and share glimpses of their life and, glimpses of what it's like to homeschool all the kids. She does a lot of home births, and it's so, I love seeing moms who are really dedicated to their kids, but they can use their free time to build a business or a side hustle that will allow them to reach a larger audience and help other moms and other women.
Can't find it.
Can't find it.
Yeah, it was nice and inspiring, and it brought a tear. It brought a gentle tear to my eye.
Maybe Instagram deleted it because Instagram hates us.
No, they would never do such a thing. They would never do such a thing to do something like that.
Something like that.
That's what I want to do, a Scottish accent for Zube. Zube, you holding an Uzi there? You holding an Uzi, Zube.
Remember when Gavin did the Scottish accent?
Yeah, Gavin was a good one.
I'm taking a shit.
I'm taking a shit. For God's sakes, Sharon.
Can we get Gavin back on?
Yeah, of course.
I miss Gavin.
What else did I want to talk about?
We still have his Budweiser here.
Yeah. Bud Heavies. Don't drink Bud Light, guys.
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know.
That's what we should do. We should do a new segment called Lost in the Comments, where we just read some of these Instagram comments where people have lost it. So speaking, because there have been some people that have replied back to my posts on the Tennessean.
What's so funny is that when people comment these dumb things and then we respond, their dumb response is, well, I didn't know you'd get so triggered by it. Why are you so triggered by it? Why are you so triggered by what we say? It's such a dumb response. It's like, if you're going to say, oh, why are you so triggered by it? Then we could just throw that back at you and say, well, why are you so triggered by what we say on our show?
For real.
That we made.
We did make this show. Get your own show.
Mike means that. At first I thought he was joking, but he actually means that. He really wants you to get your own show.
Yeah. Someone said, let's see what this thread said. Some dude named Caesar said, abortion is a healthcare right. If you cannot force someone to donate blood to save a life, you should not be able to force someone to incubate life. To which I replied, you cannot force birth. This is a low IQ take. Pregnancy has a natural course. Birth or miscarriage. Don't want to have either of those things. Abstain from sex. And then I did the little guy that goes like this. And then let's see.
Yeah, well, hold on.
Let's see who this is. Hold on.
There's another argument that they always say.
The purpose of sex isn't solely 100% to get pregnant. I'll assume that you didn't mean to suggest that you should only have sex when trying to get pregnant. If that's the case, why not get a vasectomy to prevent the ability for childbirth? People can.
They can. This whole thing
I
of
don't
like,
understand that.
I didn't consent to get pregnant. When you consent to sex, you consent to the possibility of pregnancy. It's like saying, well, when I ate all this McDonald's and didn't exercise and didn't take care of my body, I didn't consent to obesity. Yes, you did. When you take certain actions with your body, there are inevitable consequences that come out of that. It's like saying that I didn't consent to heart disease or I didn't consent to lung cancer after smoking for 20 years. So you actually did consent to pregnancy whenever you had sex. Obviously, we're talking about consensual sex. The only conversation that I will entertain about abortion is abortion for instances of rape or incest. I still am not in support of it. However, I will have the conversation with you. I'm willing to have that conversation in good faith. But all of these takes of, my body didn't consent to pregnancy, the uterus didn't consent to it. When you have sex, you consent to the possibility of pregnancy. So if you really don't want to have a baby, you have that bodily autonomy, you have the personal choice. The solution is to either not have sex or to properly use contraception to prevent sex.
Yeah.
It's always the same argument they use. I didn't consent to it. You did, buddy.
You don't like abortion? Well, you should stop masturbating because you're killing all the kids when you masturbate.
Dude, sperm
Very
is not
scientific take.
Sperm is not a baby. Sperm is a part of the process. But sperm is not a life.
Also, see, I also want to add to
Can't make
this.
a baby without the sperm.
When we talk about, I love Edmund Burke, the first conservative, and I talked on the show a couple times about how the Burkean perspective says that people are first and foremost passionate, emotional beings. However, one thing that he says all the time is that we should never, he opposed the Enlightenment because he opposed the idea that politics should be governed by science, rational orthodoxy, and quote, expertise. He always believed that what's much more useful than rational orthodoxy, quote, expertise, and quote, science is common sense, independent judgment, and really looking at something and using your morality and common sense to make a judgment decision about it. He believed that was much more useful for humans and for a government to govern off of. And I totally believe that to be true because you can throw all the scientific definitions and scientific reasons about abortion all you want. But at the end of the day, if you just use common sense and basic morality and independent judgment, it is wrong to end the life of a child. And really, it doesn't need anything more than that. I don't even need to use science or ration or reason or argue with you about consent of the uterus or argue with you about bodily autonomy. All it takes is common sense and basic morality to know that it's wrong to end the life of a child.
Yeah.
No matter how old the child is, no matter what location the child is in, no matter the stage of development the child is in, it's wrong to end the life of a child.
I wonder if C.S. Lewis was a fan of Burke because I'm 3 chapters into Mere Christianity. It's really, really interesting. Talk about the law of nature and the law of man. Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's really, really good. He talks, there's one quote that I wrote down and I'm keeping notes as I'm reading it because it talks about the love of humanity and how misguiding that can be. Because if your actions are made purely for the love of humanity, what's stopping you from, tampering with evidence in a trial? What's stopping you from? Oh man, I can't remember, but he was just saying if you do things for purely the love of humanity, then that's immoral. Yeah,
Interesting.
It's very interesting. I ruined that and I butchered that. Maybe I'll bring the note back on and talk about it.
Yeah, you should do some notes.
Yeah,
bring
that's
your
what I do.
notes about the book after you're done.
Bring your notes.
Bring your notes.
Yeah, that's it. Let's stop.
That was great.
I want to get the episode uploaded because I think you guys should see it just because we're all fired up. Today's a great day. So bye guys. I'm actually going to edit the episode right now.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
I'm going to Pride.
Oh my gosh. My poor husband has to go to Pride and be your camera person. Okay, bye.
Bye.